A new documentary is diving deep into the personal life of legendary journalist Barbara Walters, with a particular focus on her complex and often private romantic relationships. Known to the public as a trailblazing TV anchor and sharp interviewer, Walters' private life was rarely discussed in detail. But in this new exploration, viewers are getting a closer look at the woman behind the headlines. The documentary, titled The Many Lives of Barbara Walters, highlights the dual nature of Walters' existence: public success and private passion. Friends, colleagues, and insiders reveal the romantic side of the media icon that wasn't often shared with the public. One of the most talked about parts of the documentary is Walters' past affair with Senator Edward Brooke, a married man at the time and the first African American elected to the U.S. Senate by popular vote. The relationship, which occurred in the 1970s, was kept out of the spotlight for years. Walters later confirmed the affair in her 2008 memoir, Audition, but the documentary offers more context and reflection from those who knew her during that time. "She liked men," said one commentator in the documentary. "She wasn't shy about it, but she also didn't want her relationships to define her career." Walters and Brooke's relationship was deeply emotional and reportedly serious, but also risky for both parties. Brooke was still married and a prominent political figure, and Walters was becoming one of the most recognizable faces on American television. The potential for scandal was high, especially during an era when female broadcasters were under intense scrutiny. According to the documentary, the relationship ended largely due to the pressure and risk it placed on both of their careers. Walters never married Brooke, but she spoke of him with deep affection and respect, even decades later. In addition to her affair with Brooke, the film also explores Walters' marriages and other relationships. She was married 4 times to 3 different men, including 2 marriages to the same husband. Her first marriage was to Robert Henry Katz in 1955, which was annulled after less than a year. She later married theatrical producer Lee Goober in 1963, with whom she adopted her only child, daughter Jacqueline. That marriage ended in divorce in 1976. Her longest and most on-again, off-again relationship was with Merva Delson, the CEO of Lorimar Television. The couple was married twice, first in 1981 and again in 1986, before divorcing for good in 1992. Friends and colleagues interviewed in the documentary describe a love that was strong but challenged by the demands of their respective careers and frequent time apart. Walters' daughter, Jacqueline, also makes an appearance in the film, sharing personal reflections on her mother's private life and how it affected their family dynamic. Jacqueline describes Walters as fiercely driven in her work, but also as someone who longed for love and connection. The documentary makes it clear that Walters didn't conform to traditional expectations of women during her time. She was a high-powered career woman in a male-dominated field, and she didn't apologize for it. But that same ambition sometimes complicated her romantic relationships, making it difficult for her to maintain balance between love and career. "She had to work twice as hard as any man in that newsroom," one former colleague said, "and when she got home, there wasn't much energy left for anything else." Walters' professional accomplishments are well documented. She became the first female co-anchor of a network evening news program, co-created and co-hosted The View, and conducted groundbreaking interviews with some of the world's most powerful figures. But the documentary argues that her emotional life was just as rich and significant as her public one. Those close to Walters say she had a strong sense of independence and rarely let herself be defined by her partners. However, they also note that she experienced loneliness, especially in her later years. Still, she never lost her charm, humor, or interest in love. Even in her later interviews and public appearances, Walters occasionally hinted at her past romances, always with a coy smile or a clever comment. She once said in an interview, "I've had some interesting relationships. Some you know about and some you never will." The Many Lives of Barbara Walters paints a fuller picture of the journalist, not just as a trailblazer and public figure, but as a woman with desires, regrets, and complex relationships. It's a revealing look into the side of Walters the public rarely got to see, and a tribute to the personal strength that paralleled her professional